small village of interior of Maharashtra, Tirupuri. Okay. And I have studied in Marathi medium, a vernacular, till my 10th standard. And from there, I come here in Mumbai. Obviously, for my 11th, 12th, I was in Aurangabad. And there, the medium of education was English. But the conversing was happening, obviously, in either in Marathi or Hindi. And for my medical education, I come here in Mumbai. First one from my family, and not only family, even from my town, my village. I was the first one to come to Mumbai for higher education. Here I come, a different world altogether. You know, all the people who were there in the college, they were from, English medium. They're the way of clothing, the way of speaking, English conversation, everything. And all that created somewhere that feeling of inferior in my mind. Feeling that, oh, whether I'll be able to gel in this crowd, whether I'll be able to survive here in this world, completely no different from where I come. Right? But in that period, what helped me to come out of it were two teachings from my parents. Though they were not there with me physically, but their teachings were with me. My father always used to say, from the childhood, he had this opinion that one needs to dress really well. And really well is not that having branded clothes. Okay, it's what he used to say is having clothes which are clean, comfortable, and which you can carry well. So with that, you build that confidence in yourself. So that was one thing which I always kind of worked onto it, and I followed that completely. Secondly, my mother, she always used to tell me, see, Jyoti, none of us are complete. Every one of us will have some faults, will have some shortcomings. But never let those shortcomings overtake you, overpower you. And don't make show of it. Even if you're not knowing anything, just observe people around, ask the question, and try and learn about it. That will help you to overcome whatever weaknesses you have. And that was really a great learning which helped me to come out of it. Obviously, my inferior feeling just lasted maybe say for a couple of weeks or something. And here I could make friends with so many people. And now today I'm so proud to be part of that badge, my GMC 87 badge. Really proud to be that. And all of us are like a family now. So friends, what I want to share here and what I wanted to convey here is this kind of feeling of being inferior, okay, sometime or other in life, because of maybe some insecurity, maybe some inadequacy, or sometimes we feel we haven't achieved what we are supposed to achieve, whatever goals we have planned for ourselves, sometime or other we come across these kind of feelings. And I'm sure all of you must have also gone through it. So to make it a little interactive, I would just like to have a couple of sharings from you people. Keep it very quickly. Just talk about maybe the area or the field where you felt that inferiority. Not very long, just few seconds so that we get a chance, every one of us. Yeah. So who would like to start? Can share. What was the area? Yeah, Ganesh, we can start from you.
Yeah, good morning. So the same year, I was also from vernacular medium, Marathi medium, and when I went to engineering, and then most of the people were speaking very fluently in English, and they used to ask a lot of questions to the teacher. So I used to fear talk to the teacher first of all, and then more or less because of the English challenge, I could not speak up. Though I was good at learning, I could not speak out. So I used to pass this message to my friends who were good at English, and then he used to talk to the teacher. So that complex definitely had a lot of challenges created during this engineering side. That's all I would like to share.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyone else would like to share? Anytime you felt this?
Hi, can I? This is Afreen here.
Yeah.
Um, inferiority complex for me is something like I think over a few years I have developed it just because someone told me something and that had got stuck into my mind. So like I was confident enough in my college, etc., but something happened in my past which has made a like a dent on my mind, you can say,
Okay.
which keeps on coming back. Like when I'm into clinical hypnosis, so a lot of things has healed, but at times there are triggers.
Right.
And when a person is a authoritative figure in your life and that person tell you something,
Right.
so it keeps on like haunting for the entire life. So that has happened to me, and whenever I try to do something which I feel yes I can do it, when I have to face, or when I have to finalize certain things, then I have to depend on someone to give me a confirmation that okay fine, this is perfect what you have done. So like that confidence which was there always is now I feel it's lacking in me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, our friend, for
Thank you so much.
sharing. So good. We can take it up from there, I suppose. Yeah.
Thank you
I
so much.
have
So,
a
yeah.
feeling. I have a feeling of inferiority when it comes to technology and also with regards to decision making. I,
Okay.
I cannot decide as to what I want to do. I know what I don't want to do, but I don't know what I want to do.
Okay.
So
Great.
I feel inferior with regards to decision making and technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Kayuri, for that. Yeah, Srilata ma'am. You have raised your hand. Yeah. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Speak and then again. Yeah. Yeah, Srilata.
You can hear me?
Yeah. We can. Tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I had a inferiority complex as a child. Be- okay, can't hear. How will I do that?
Yeah. Speak. We are able
Now,
to.
now it's okay.
Yeah. Perfectly fine.
Yeah, I had an inferiority complex from a child because I was the shortest in the family, and everyone started making so much of fun of me. And I'm short. Then when I had developed that confidence. I had to always wear a high heel sandal to make up my height. So when I got married, I got a very tall husband who was 5'10.5". Can you hear me?
Yeah.
5'10.5". Even then, at that time also, they used to make fun of me. He's very tall, you are very short, and also I didn't care. There also, I was putting high heel just to match his height. So one fine day, I started getting pain in the leg. So my husband told me that, Why are you worried about others? I have accepted you as you are short. So don't wear any of those high heel. You wear a comfortable sandal so that you are okay. Since then, I have my complex had disappeared. Just to sharing my experience with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Srilata. Okay. So on that note, we take it forward. Let's see what is there in journey of this and find out how we can deal. What exactly is this inferiority complex and what happens when people face this, yeah, and how to overcome it, right? So before we start, there's couple of things which I want to tell you. I want to keep this interactive, but throughout the presentation, I'll be the one who will be asking the questions. Whatever questions you have, we'll take it in later half of it. Okay, so that's how we'll go about it. And whenever, if you are speaking, if at all, unmute yourself. The moment you finish, please mute yourself. Okay, so just give me a second. I'll just start sharing my slide. You all can see my screen?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So today's topic, the real me, overcoming the inferiority complex. We have spoken about it. I've told you that, all of us, sometime or other, we have experienced this feeling of inferior for whatever reason. Maybe it's physically, as Srilata ma'am said, it's a height, it may be looks, it may be someone feels that I'm not rich enough like other people, maybe the education, maybe the language part of it, there are so many different different aspect of our life. So for something or other, we tend to have that feeling of inferior, feeling somewhere we are inadequate, feeling somewhere we don't belong to that group, okay, which keeps happening. But is this feeling, because obviously all these feelings sometimes they are just there occasionally, or maybe they are related to situation, right? So those are the feelings, just inferior feelings. Is it the same as inferiority complex? No, there's little bit of difference here. What's that difference? Let's find it out. So this American Psychological Association has given this definition for inferiority complex. What they say that it's a basic feeling of inadequacy and insecurity. And from where it comes from actual or imagined. Okay, actual, like what Srilata ma'am said, it's the height. Actually, height is maybe low compared to average, or it can be imagined. Sometimes people have, please mute, yeah. Okay. It can be imagined that okay, are not up to the other person's caliber. And this feeling of inadequacy or insecurity deriving from actual or imagined physical or psychological deficiency. This is what is called as a inferiority complex. So it is not related only to one situation. It affects your life continuously. It's there. And because of it, all areas of your life get affected, be it social, be it your personal health wise, or be it your occupational, everywhere it affects. So that is the basic difference. The casual inferior feeling, which is just temporarily there, and this inferiority complex is continuously there. This term inferiority complex was coined by a psychologist, Alfred Adler, way back in 1907. Okay. Nowadays, commonly, this term is not used so much, though in layman's, this inferiority complex or superiority complex is very common. But scientifically, we have been using the term as a self-esteem, something called as a low self-esteem and high self-esteem. Okay. So it's nothing different from this as an inferiority complex. So, yeah. So let's understand a little more in detail. Why? How does this inferiority complex gets developed? Okay. So as you can see here in the center, this is core is what is our real self, what we actually are, whether physically, psychologically, our mental abilities, our physical appearance, whatever it is, that's real. Okay. What is ideal is what we believe to be ideal. We have our own ideas. Okay, to be earning X amount or having X amount in as a bank balance is what makes you a good person. Or maybe having such kind of looks, a beauty, maybe having a fan following, or maybe really good into the relationship, being very helpful to the people, being very kind to the people, or maybe the people who is very organized, the perfectionist, whatever. There are n number of characteristics which are there, which we put it as an ideal. And when we are not reach up to our own ideal, okay, so we perceive ourselves as an inferior. So that is where that complex comes, because this is again a perceived. This is a real, what we find that this is ideal. And when our ideal and our real is not matching, it's less somewhere, we perceive it as to be inferior. And obviously exactly opposite, when we perceive that we are higher than others, we are greater than others, or our ideal is completely matched, we tend to have the superiority complex. Okay. What is this projected is? This is the part what we show it to the world. Maybe it's called as a social media. What we project to others, again, maybe sometimes it's dependent on what we feel is actually really good. This is how I need to project. I may not be like this. Maybe, something like, okay, I don't have such a heavy bank balance. I'm not so rich, but would like to wear something branded. And commonly nowadays, it is seen in lot many children. And why only children or teenagers? Even adults also. you just want to have some car, a big car, or having a big house, so that you want to project it to the world. And also sometimes what people would like to see, especially nowadays about social media. We'll be talking a little more detail about it. Okay, so that is what is the projected me. Oh. Yeah. Right. So as I said, the ideal me basically depends on what we value. Okay. Someone may be valuing money a lot. For them, that will be their characteristic. For some, money is not so a big, doesn't make so much of a difference. But if you are a good person, a kind-hearted person, what is kind-hearted? Maybe you're very helpful, very kind to other people. Maybe that is what is the ideal. For maybe it's someone for the looks, young girls, adolescents, nowadays with the media, or say they want to become a beauty queen, right? Or for the boys also having that physique. So that is what is the ideal, depending on your value, what you feel is important. Perceived me, as I said, what you are, you tend to see little in negative aspect, negative connotation, because you feel you are not achieving what is actually ideally it should be there. And projected, what world wants to see. Okay. You want to show to the world only what they want to see, not what actually you have, what is really there. And that's why there's lot of conflict, lot of struggle which is there, because actually something different which is there in your mind, in your thought process, and what you are appearing to the world, what you're projecting to the world is different. So it creates lot of conflict, lot of anxiety also sometimes. Okay, so now we know what is this inferiority complex. So we come to the causes of it. Why does it happen? Because obviously this inferiority complex is not with everyone. As I said, maybe sometime other, casually, situationally, all of us feel it for temporarily sometime. But this complex per se is not there with everyone. There are only few people, or maybe say, I don't know exact the figure I would say, but there are some people who go through this, which is affecting their life for the almost every day and every moment. So what are the causes? The biological, I mean, this is the model what we have learned throughout our psychiatry, biopsychosocial model as it is called. So biologically, what it is? The illness per se, the mood disorder. What does it mean by mood disorder? One is depression. The second is something called as a mania or bipolar depression. Okay. Very important, very common illness which gives rise to this inferiority complex. I would like to stress this issue here and this point particularly, because depression is so very common, and just because people are not aware, they don't realize, they don't come forward for the help. What happens? Person has been doing really well, and suddenly they start having this depression, and they start feeling that there is, they can't do anything. Their worth is not so much. They start feeling lower. They start losing confidence. And then slowly this negativity comes in. Why it is important to know this? Because otherwise, without realization, the common thing what people advise is, that pushing. Just think positive, have some positive affirmation, do it, you can do it, nothing is there, it's just in your mind, actually nothing is happening. And sometimes that kind of it becomes a counterproductive, it backfires. Because it's something like person is having a fracture, person is not even able to stand, and you're saying, no, do some exercise and you will get that strength. So obviously, if you're just pushing, that fracture is going to worsen, right? Similarly here, if it's a depression, it needs a treatment. It just is not going to go just by changing your so-called having that positive mental attitude, or having those affirmations. So mood disorder needs treatment. So depression being the commonest of it. So please become very aware of it and just keep looking for it. If anyone is there, you can guide. That brings us to the personality disorder. There are certain personality. And these things are genetically, it is decided by genetical. There's no fault of someone. It's not the person who's doing deliberately. The personality, there are a couple of personality. I would just mention one or two here. There is something called as the avoidant personality. There is something called as melancholic personality. There's a few to name who have this inferiority complex. All the time they feel they are good, good for nothing. Okay, and they are not going to survive in this world. So these are the major biological causes. What about psychological and social? These two go somewhere hand in hand. We'll be talking about it little more detail because today our whole thing is how you can overcome it. Okay, so psychologically what it is, as I said, in ideal, it's your values, what you value more. And depending on those values, you have the thought process. Cognition is nothing but the thought process and your belief system, what you develop. Okay, that has lot of impact on how you feel, how you perceive yourself. And social, very common, the childhood abuse, be it a physical abuse, be it a psychological abuse, mental abuse, or financial abuse, any kind of abuse during the childhood. These people, when they grow up, they tend to have that trauma is there on their psyche, on their mind, long-lasting trauma. Unless and until it is attended to, it leaves that mark, and person have that inferiority complex throughout their life. The strict parenting. Mind you, parents are not doing it deliberately. The intention is not bad, but unknowingly, parents tend to become so strict, so particular. And especially if they are so, like, the parent who are very perfectionist, they are very particular about rules, regulation. They have this habit of working very systematically. They expect their children also to be something like that without realizing whether the child's personality is also like them or not, whether child has that kind of capacity or not. But they will just keep reinforcing, and that makes children more going into the shell, and they feel, oh, no, I'm not really good. And obviously, okay, yeah. Another aspect from the social point of view is comparison. I have put this specifically different because this is very, very, very common. Knowingly, unknowingly, we have been doing. We have experienced as a children also, and now we are passing it on to our children, and we keep doing this from the time the child is born. I remember, like, okay, whenever you go and meet, see someone has, the newborn has come and you go and meet, the first thing is starting, अरे ये किसके जैसे दिखता है, ये तो अपनी मम्मी पे गया, ये तो अपनी पापा पे गया, नाक इसके जैसी, आंख इसके जैसी, that comparison starts. There is comparison between the siblings, there is comparison between the friends, and so on and so forth. Comparison for the physical characteristic, comparison for the mental abilities, academic performance, everything. And this doesn't stop there. We may say that, okay, it's parents, but it's not only parents. Even when we grow up, we start comparing ourselves with others. How about our neighbor? Which car that neighbor has got now recently? Where they have gone for the vacation. So that comparison is always there. And this comparison is the biggest enemy, I would say, or the causative factor to lead to have that inferiority complex. And not only inferiority, sometimes, obviously, it's superiority complex also happens, which we'll be seeing it. Another thing is the criticism. Always being very critical about everything. Every small thing you keep talking about it, become very critical. Oh, you haven't done this properly, you haven't done that properly, you have not been on time, you haven't done this. Okay, knowingly or unknowingly, we keep doing this to our children, to ourselves, and to others also surrounding us. And last but not the least, social media. Right? Mr. Kamal was talking about it. A biggest, I would say, the enemy nowadays. Okay? social media, those pictures on the Facebook. We are so much worried about the likes, about comments, about the followers, and we just keep comparing ourselves. Someone who is having like, okay, maybe followers in thousands and we have just followers in hundreds, and we start feeling inferior to it. Very common with the adolescents nowadays, with the teenagers, but yeah, we adults are also not left behind it, okay? We are equally into it. The moment we see, okay, and here I remember, obviously it's not only related to social media, but that advertisement, all of you must have seen this, very well known, about the ring. Bhala uski saadi, meri saadi se safed kaisi. We always tend to compare ourselves with the others. So all these things, comparison, criticism, being, always on the social media, they contribute to having this inferiority complex, making us feel that we are inadequate and creating that sense of insecurity in us. Okay, so how do we identify? Now this identification, these things, what I'm going to tell you now, I would say before trying to find it out in others, because this is a normal tendency. Wherever I conduct workshops or give lectures and I talk about anything, whether it's a stress or anything, the first thing people have is, oh, they start, oh, she behaves like that. Oh, he behaves like that. My husband is like that, or my wife is like that. My intention here is, please first look for yourself. Is there anything which is there in yourself, and try and work onto it? Because what you can work is on yourself, not on others. So first try and bring that change in yourself, then help others. So first and foremost, self-doubt. The people who are having inferiority complex, they always doubt their own decision, their own abilities. They're always in doubt. Am I going to be performing really well? They're never sure. And that's the reason maybe they need a lot of reassurance from the people, telling them, oh, you are doing right, you are on the right path. They're always thinking, always being in doubt. I may not be able to do it well. I may not be able to perform really well. I may not be able to, take right decisions. Always that doubt is there about oneself. These people are very critical about themselves, not only about others, but about oneself. Okay. Always criticizing. Because somewhere they feel, as I said, they have that ideal. Okay. Not ready to believe that that real is not up to the ideal, and they always want to match that ideal. So they will always criticize oneself also. Oh, I haven't dressed properly. I haven't done this nicely. I haven't performed really well. So always criticizing oneself. The big sentence which always is there in their dictionary, the people with the inferiority, not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not rich enough. As you can see here, I hope you are able to see, there are all this circle, there are different names which have been put depending on the values. So every individual, someone may not be, as I told you earlier also, may not be for money so much. Maybe someone feel that, oh, when it comes to talking, when we are into the group, I'm not so witty. So they will hold themselves back. Sometimes they feel, okay, I'm not going to converse so well because I'm not so witty. I cannot create so many good jokes. Even that can create to inferiority complex sometimes. Okay? So different values, whatever you feel is important in life, whatever is your ideal, or depending on that, you start labeling yourself that you are not good enough. These people always have this fear of failure. That's why they won't take up any action. Before taking any action, so many, because as I said, the doubt which is there, that keeps coming up, that keeps overpowering. Oh, what if I'm not able to achieve this? What if I fail into this? What if I lose money? What if people don't like it? What if I hurt someone? There's so many what ifs are there in mind. They're so very full of failure, and they want to run from that failure without realizing that it is within them. They cannot run away from it. They need to face it and take that action. Be a little bold and do it. Obviously, with these all inferiority which are there in the mind, they want to avoid people. They don't want to be with the, what do you say, mix with the people or be part of any kind of a social gathering. Okay? Avoidance is the biggest factor, which also leads sometimes to the social anxiety. That's one of the very common disorder which is there. I remember recently I had one patient, a young girl around in 20s. She said her mother was very excited. Her birthday was approaching in say 2 weeks time or something, and her mother was excited. She wanted to have a party, and she asked her daughter, this patient of mine, that okay, what would you like to do, whom you would like to invite and everything. And she said, no, I don't want to have the birthday party. Her mother knew that it's not that she doesn't enjoy partying or something. Some people don't, they are not so party animal, but this girl enjoyed being with the people, but now she was avoiding it. When we explored, I spoke to her, came to know that she had this ideal in her mind that parties should be like this, the perfectionist. Parties should be like this. It should be, the invitation should be like this, her menu should be like this, the venue should be like this. There were so many things. And she said she thought that she's not going to match up to it. Even her own self, she had put on little bit weight. So she felt, no, I may not, go, I won't be appreciated so well by the people. So she was avoiding this birthday party. And social isolation. Even if you are into the gathering, even if you're with the people, you don't be part of the people. You remain little aloof, you're isolated. In here, I remember one of my another patient, young girl, she must be in her, not girl, a lady, late 30s. Okay? Very beautiful, very, slim, trim, very beautiful lady, educated. But whenever she used to go for parties, she said that, doctor, I don't like to talk to people. I just sit in one corner. And I wait for the people to come and talk to me. If they talk, I say. If they say hi, hello, I just exchange those courtesy way. But I don't feel like going. I said, why? What is the reason? But at the same time, she also used to feel little envious about another lady in the group who used to be kind of a center of attraction. She would go on talking to others, and everyone used to give her attention. So she was feeling very envious, and she said, yeah, I don't feel really comfortable. I want to be someone like her. I said, yeah, why don't you go and try then? And she said, no, I'm not good in communication. What if I make some mistake? What if people will make fun of me? People will laugh at me. So those were her doubts in her mind. And because of that, even if she used to be in party, she would never interact with others. Right. So now we know what exactly is the inferiority complex, what kind of thinking people have, what kind of behavior these people have. So now what happens? The people who have this inferiority complex, what is the effect of it if they have it? Because someone may say it's okay. If you say it's a part of personality, let it be. Why bother about it? What happens? So people who don't pay attention, they get this stuck feeling. They are kind of dragging on in their life. They're just stuck in there. Okay, this is the way I am. What to do? Maybe they put the blame on the luck. Maybe they say, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be. Maybe they'll say that surrounding is not conducive. Maybe they'll say the social support is not there. Okay. But they feel stuck. They feel they can't come out of it. And their whole life becomes just one misery for their own selves and obviously for the people who are around them. They keep stuck in that particular, and whatever I mentioned, all the things, all the symptoms, they carry on throughout their life. But there are other people who try to mask all these thought processes, what we discussed, or all this kind of behavior, what they have. So they try to mask their inferiority complex with something else, what is called as superiority complex. So superiority complex is not just actually you are having something really great, but it is also the whole purpose of that superiority is to cover up their insecurity. So many times we feel, that okay, some people when we see and we admire, oh, he's such a good orator, he talks so well, or maybe like commonly with, I would say, with the Bollywood people or media people, we get so carried away, they carry themselves so well, that glamour and how well they behave and how well they carry, and they have so much of a wealth and everything. But yeah, all these people actually, they have a lot of insecurities, they have a lot of inferiority in themselves, which are just getting masked by this superiority. Okay? So we will be talking about that and obviously how to overcome it. Because this masking is not actually overcoming it. It is just kind of having that facade in front of you. Yeah. So this is a way people get it. When you are insecure, generally this is seen commonly into the children, but yeah, even sometimes adults also show that. They have that attention-seeking behavior. Because somewhere they feel they are lacking something, they feel inferior about themselves. So what they do, somewhere or other, they will try and seek that attention from the people. I'm sure most of you must have watched that movie, what was that? Hindi Medium. Very classic example, right? Where they have that inferiority. They feel that, okay, the language is a barrier. So they try to, that one scene is there where they say they have to project like a elite group, so they just go wearing all branded clothes and everything. So what is that? That's attention-seeking behavior. You're just projecting yourself in different way. Another point here is exaggeration. These people have this characteristic. Even if something what they have achieved a little bit, they'll make it look so big. I remember one of my friend, again in my college, I used to get so very, I was not kind of a jealous, but I used to feel so inspired and I used to think, oh, how she manages so much, She would always be like, oh, I have done this and I've done this, I've read this and I'm doing this class, I'm doing that class. So many things she used to talk and I was always in awe that how she manages so much. She's really great. And it happened so once, there were not many people, like there was some vacation or something. Obviously, I was outstation, so I was staying in the hostel. So very few girls were there and we too also were there. Rest, everyone had gone to their own village. And suddenly one day when I went to her room and I found she was crying. She was in this. So I said, what happened? When I spoke to her, I came to know that she was having that feeling that she is actually not good enough. She felt that her looks are not so good. And that's why people don't make friends with her. They don't really like to communicate with her. So because of that feeling, to get that approval from the people, get their attention, she would exaggerate whatever she had done, even the small, she would just talk so big about it. So this is another thing, the way you mask your inferiority. Something on similar ground, you boast a lot. These people, inferiority complex when they have, they boast a lot about it. Whatever it is there, they would like to, something like a show off. A little bit is there, but you show off as if, yeah, it's such a great achievement. See why this is happening, why it is important again, why I'm making this point here. Okay, because by doing all this, what you're doing is just diverting your attention and not actually paying whole attention to the issue, the cause of it, not working onto it, just trying to divert your mind. And obviously in this, it affects the health and that happiness which is not there. You may show it to the world, but that real happiness is not there. Real satisfaction is not there. Another thing is these people, they think high of themselves. For them, it is like, okay, they are the one and the whole world should rotate around them. Whatever they say needs to happen. My way is the highway. Okay? Something like that. Very egoistical people. For all these, these people, they come out as very strong-headed something, but they have this inferiority complex. And as I said, we use that term as a self-esteem. So we call it as a hidden or secret self-esteem, okay, which is low. They may project high, but it's actually low. Obviously, they feel the whole world is in their hand. Sari duniya meri muthi mein. They behave that way. And because of that, they also sometimes come out as very rude people, very aggressive. And especially this aggression you will see when they are at higher position. Okay. They may not be able to be aggressive for the people who are higher than, but they'll be aggressive to their subordinates, lower. The parents will take out aggression on the children. The boss will be aggressive towards his subordinates. Sometimes in the colleagues also it can be seen. Very aggressive. Why? Because their inferiority complex, their inside, the esteem is so fragile that anytime it can break. They're very sensitive to criticism. They cannot take criticism. And because of that, what happens, it's like, you are into the glass wall and you are scared that anyone can come and just hit it and it's going to break. So what do? Anyone who is approaching, even not with the intention of touching or hurting that glass, okay, you feel that, okay, he's going to come and break it. So first only you build that wall. In front of your glass, you build another wall, or you stand strongly so that your glass does not break. It's something like that. So their esteem is so low, they are so sensitive, and they are scared that, people will come, people will say something, and it will get shattered. So it's, what you say, the attack is best defense that way. So first, before anyone say anything, they only become very aggressive and rude. Yeah. So next time, if anyone you see that is very coming as aggressively or something, don't get so scared and don't feel very bad that, why, how come that person talked. Maybe you feel little sympathetic towards person, that he himself or she herself may need some help. Okay. And what is that help is the treatment. So the third part, what I said, the overcoming of it. How do one overcome it? So obviously, if anything you need to overcome, any issue, any problem which is there, you have to solve that. What is it you need to do is, first obviously you have to find out why problem is there. You want to find the solution, first you have to see what is the cause of it. What is the reason of it? Why it's happening? The moment you know the cause, obviously things are solved. A common example I give is the person is having fever. Okay, you may give the crocin, fever will come down. But unless and until you know that fever is, whether it is because of TB, whether it's because of typhoid, or nowadays whether it's because of COVID, don't know, you won't be able to give the proper treatment. And unless until you give the right antibiotics, the illness is not going to go away. So temporary relief may be there, but then again it will come back. So similarly, to overcome this inferiority complex, we need to find it out. So as I said, the first cause, the biological, if person is having depression or person is having mania, right, what is required here is the medical treatment. Because mind you, these biological things are due to chemical imbalance in the brain. It does not come just like that. And those chemical imbalances cannot be corrected just by talking to the person. Even if the professional like us, okay, who are the psychotherapist or psychologist, you cannot just talk to the person and change that. You need something from outside to correct that. So medicines are very required in case of biological, especially into the depression and mania. I'm mentioning mania here because many times even the hypomania goes unnoticed. These people have that false superiority. Okay? They have this false sense. That is what we call, in technical terms, we call it as a delusion of grandeur. they have that delusion. They feel a person may be very lean and thin, not at all having any kind of strength, but he has that feeling that I can fight with 10 people who are, with the arms. Maybe they are having some kind of instrument in their hand, but I can still go and fight with them. So they have that false sense. So either depression or mania, treatment is required. The medicine needs to be given. Okay. Next comes is the affirmations, what I have mentioned here. This is for the individual level. One, when you feel that, okay, you need to handle it on your own. Before you go and take professional help from anyone, you want to try it out on your own. So yeah, definitely these affirmations do have their role. I won't say it's completely ineffective, but limited role, which is there, where you can talk to yourself and tell yourself that, not like I'm not good enough. I'm enough. I'm perfect for myself. Perfect for myself, not in comparison with others. So not to have that comparison, but just think about yourself. The classically we give exercise to the patient for this affirmation is, I love myself. I like myself the way I am. Okay. I love myself the way I am. I accept myself the way I am. So these affirmations, they do have the role to play. And very important, the third thing is the psychotherapy. Okay, because as we have seen, basically all this inferiority, everything is playing in your mind, in your thinking process, in your belief system. So obviously, if issue is there, if cause is there in the belief system, cause is there in your thought process, you need to work on those thought processes. We call it as a cognitive distortion, and we help the people to rework and correct that cognitive distortion, or whatever the faulty belief system they have, they need to correct that. There are different kinds of psychotherapies which are there. There is something called as ACT therapy, the reorientation therapy, CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, or there is REBT, the rational emotive behavior therapy. Different types of therapies are there depending on the individual, okay, who is the person and what kind of problem they have. We apply these therapies. Okay. So what exactly happens in therapies? I'll shortly explain you. In this cognitive distortion, what I was talking about, there are different kinds of cognitive distortion. One of them, which we are going to see here practically, okay, what happens. But before we see that, I'll just explain you what happens. All these psychotherapies, the basic, the basic principle behind it is this reorientation. The thinking pattern needs to be changed. But as I said, that value which you give, and depending on that value, you have your ideal self. And focus is completely on that. So the changing that orientation from ideal to real self, focusing on your strength and weaknesses. Work with the strength, make use of strength, and try and correct your weakness as much as possible. So that is what is the basic principle of all the reorientation psychotherapy, or rather all psychotherapies, not only reorientation, be it CBT, be it REBT, what. So this whole process is into the thoughts, and there are different cognitive cognitive distortion which are there. The first one which we are going to see is called the mental filter. Before I explain, let's do this small activity. Okay, so I'll just stop my screen share for time being, and I hope all of you are ready with your pen. Yeah? Okay. So what you have to do now, you need to have the 3 columns. Okay, column A, column B, and column C in that. I'm going to show you 3 different boards. Okay. On that board, there are 6 squares which are there. So you need to put the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 numbers and the number starts from, for you, the top on your left, on my right, whatever is there, I'll just show it to you. And what is the color, what you can see of that square? Okay, so I'll just explain it to you. Okay. Can you see this? All of you? Yeah? Okay. So now you are going to start from here. This is going to be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay. In this way you are going to work. So just start writing what color you see. 1, what is the color? 2, what is the color? 3, what is the color? 4. This is you're going to write in A. Okay. So just write what color you can see here. Yeah. You're done with it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now you know what is the rule. The same way, but now into the column B, you are going to write what color you see. Again, starting from this top, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So just write what colors you can see. Done with it?
Yeah, done.
Done, right? Okay. So now here comes our third board. So now your column C, where you are going to write in same fashion. I'm sure we all are not the art students here, but I think this is simple, basic colors. Everyone will be able to identify.
We're done.
Yeah, done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so all three done, A, B, and C. Okay, so now, how many of you have got the C column, B column, and 3 column? The answers are same. How many answers are same? The colors are same. Are they all same or you got it different? Yeah.
I've got one right, that is the red one.
Okay. Right. All others are different colors, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What about anyone else? Marnosh, you would like to...
Sorry, but here, in 2 or 3 of them, column A and column C, the colors are same, but the B one is different. So it is something like that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. There is nothing right, wrong. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. There are no marks here. There is no first. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Column A, B, C, the shades are changing,
Okay.
even though the base color in C remains the same.
Yeah, colors remain same, but the shades are different in A and C.
So A becomes olive green, B becomes purple, and C remains blue.
Okay. Good one. Yeah.
Only the column 2 and the column 4 were constant.
Okay. Column?
2 and column 4.
No. Okay, you mean to say the number wise, the number.
The number wise, yes.
Okay, because column we had only.
Column ABC of column 2, ABC of column 4 were same.
Okay. But rest were different, right?
It's a little different, like light yellow, like light orange, like that. Not very drastically, but yes.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, Sangeeta here.
Yes.
Column C had a best shade, very light and soothing.
Okay.
That's what I felt.
Right. Okay. Yeah, Nina, you would like to share? Yeah. Anyone has got completely the same colors?
Here, ma'am, actually I didn't hear the
Yeah.
C1.
Yeah, Kalpana.
C1 is first is light blue, light yellow, light green.
No, don't tell me all the colors. I just want to know that how many you got the same colors in all three columns.
Acha, same colors.
Are there anyone who got all same colors in all three columns? Yeah, Ganesh?
Yeah,
Almost
I got.
some copy their shade, something which is light, something which is dark, but colors are almost same. But
All three columns same color were there.
almost I found is same color. Yeah, color blindness I do not know, but I felt almost same.
Light.
Yeah, Kalpana. Yeah.
Light. I felt light yellow in mostly in all the columns.
Okay. Right.
I got the red one, same in all the columns, number 4.
Okay. Right.
I found the number B column has got brighter colors.
Yeah. Okay. Now there were different colors, but okay, none of you have got all 6 colors in all 3 columns, right? Or matching. Like number 1 is same in all 3 columns. Number 2 colored is same. None of you got it, right? Why it is so when both these were the same? If you can see here, there is not a single change here, right? You can see these are the same which I showed it to you. Yeah.
You had the yellow cellophane on the first time.
Exactly. So these are the different color filters. That was this magenta. There was this yellow filter, right? So the reality, the actuality is same. But what made the change is the filter, right?
Lens, yes.
Yeah. So what is the lesson? Before I say, if anyone would like to share what is the lesson, what is the learning here?
You see everything as per your lens.
Exactly. Exactly. Good one, Rajan, right?
Perception changes. Perception changes when there is a covering.
Exactly. Right. So the world, reality, whatever is there. Yeah, Bhandari, you will have to unmute yourself. Mr. Bhandari, unmute yourself. Unmute and then talk. Yeah.
What I can say is that everything changes as per your perception, individual's perception.
Exactly. Right. So this is what is the actually point which has to be made. Whether it is about others, whether it is about yourself. Okay, it's not only about others also. It's also about yourself. In reality, you may be a different person. Or the others, they are of a different person. That is the reality. What filter you put in front of your eyes. So if that filter is of negativity, if that filter is of labeling that I'm failure, then yeah, you see everything as a failure only. So need to remove these filters of negativity and start looking at the reality. What is that reality? It may not be up to what you think should be, but it is what it is. Okay?
Can I say something, Dr. Jyoti?
Come on. If it's related to it, yeah, quickly.
Yeah, related to this only. See, we were able to see the color and we were able to identify the filter. But the filter was changing the perception, or rather the color. So many times in reality also, we are able to identify the personality, which is the filter, what we are carrying, but fail to understand that what is the reality. So that's why this inferiority or superiority complex comes in.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is the whole thing, that filter needs to be removed. Okay. Reality, you cannot do anything. Reality is going to be there, whatever it is, right? The sun shines the way it is going to shine. Now, if you wear whether a black glasses, whether you wear the red glasses, whether you wear a green glasses, sun is not changing as per your glasses. Right? So what you need to do is remove those glasses and see the reality. That's what exactly has to be done. And that is what we do into the psychotherapy. That is where we help the people to identify. As I've given you the one example of the filter, there are so many different kinds of thought distortion which are there. There's something called as maximization, minimization, all or none, so many, jumping to conclusion. There are so many different thought distortions which are there, which one has to identify and start working onto it. Okay, I'll again start sharing my slide. Yeah, right. So that is what is done during the psychotherapy and help the person to reorient it and help them to focus on to the reality. And when that reality is there, the reality may not be same for every individual. Okay. As you can see here, these two different trees, they are trees, right? And same tree, I mean same like coconut tree if you have to say, yeah? But there is a difference. Now, which one do you think is beautiful?
Both are beautiful.
Right? Just because one is straight doesn't make it more beautiful. And one is little. The tilt, there is a beauty in that tilt. Okay, it is giving that different kind of a feel, different kind of a background picture. I mean, right? So everyone is unique with our own limitations, with our own strength, with our own inadequacies, but every one of us are unique. So that is the reason there cannot be comparison between two. See, if we have to compare, we need two things. You all will agree. Can we compare only one thing? Not possible. How can we compare? There needs to be two things, right?
Yes.
To compare. So you are unique. You are the only one who is there in this life. Same way goes for other human beings. But today we are not talking about interpersonal relationship. So focus is completely on yourself. To learn and believe that you are that unique self with your own beauty. That's why believe in yourself. Be you. Don't try to change. Don't try to be some different person. Because every individual has some plus or some minus in life. If you try to take, the other side, I mean, other characteristics of other person, with their plus, their minus also comes. And if you leave your own self, you also leave, along with your negatives, you also leave your positives. So in the bargain, again, you are back to the square one. So no need to change. Believe in yourself. Just be yourself and accept yourself. The self-acceptance. The ultimate answer, the ultimate solution to this inferiority complex is self-acceptance. And I was telling you about self-esteem. The self-esteem and self-acceptance are not one and the same. I'll repeat once again, the self-acceptance and self-esteem are not one and the same. Okay. Self-esteem is something, again, depends on something. what commonly people mistake and they talk about it, many people, especially in corporates and even otherwise, always they talk, you don't have to have the low self-esteem, you need to have the high self-esteem. No. High self-esteem also is again depends on what? How much have you achieved? What is your power? What is your contribution? Again, it is dependent on something. So there is no need for having any self-esteem. This founder of REBT psychotherapy, okay, is Alice, psychologist Alice, Dr. Alice, he mentioned it, okay, that it's a myth of self-esteem. But no one needs this self-esteem. What they need is a self-acceptance, and that too unconditional self-acceptance. It's not that if I become so and so, if I achieve this, if I earn this, then I'm going to accept. No. You have to accept yourself for who you are. That's the ultimate answer. Unconditional self-acceptance is the answer for this inferiority complex. The moment you start accepting yourself, you'll find that self-containment, self-love. And obviously, if you are having that love, if you are having that compassion for yourself, then only you can spread it to others. As they say, if you're carrying flowers in your hand, then only you can spread that fragrance. So once you start loving yourself, you start accepting yourself, then only you will be able to spread that. So have unconditional self-acceptance. With that, we come to end, and